fellow planner babes and budget ladies. I want to thank you for joining me for this Budget with Me series. There are 4 videos to this series for Budget with Me. It's going to be the first one is the basic one, which is the one that I'm doing right now. The second one is debt tracker. The third one is savings plan, and the last one is sinking funds. And I'm going to give a vacation example with that one. First, before we go forward, I want you guys to like, subscribe, and also sign up for notifications so that whenever I post a video, you'll be able to see it. And go ahead and get started with me as I budget. If you would like to follow along with me, go ahead and download this free sheet by first following me on IG and then direct message me and I will email you the link to the download. I have the download available in Numbers and also in Excel. You would also need to insert your email address inside the direct message so I can send it to you. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm using the MacBook. So this is actually in Numbers, but it looks very similar inside of Microsoft Excel. The first thing I wanted to talk about first is how I set up my budget for the year. I've been doing it for about 2000, since 2012, I've been doing budgets for our household. We were on limited budget for a very long time and just trying to figure out how to spend our money for the week or for the month. Every 2 weeks when we got paid, just paycheck to paycheck. And so I decided to set up an Excel spreadsheet to help it work out for our best benefit for all of our funds that we're receiving every month. And so here's how we set up. So first, we get paid every 2 weeks. So we have our first check expenses here. And then we have our second check expenses here. And then we also have our debt that we're paying off here. And we have quarterly and annual payments here. And at the bottom, I summarize all of our total monthly payments. Later on in the other budget series videos, I'm going to explain how I do our savings goals and also how I do my sinking funds for our vacations. So that's coming up really soon. Next, I also want to explain to you the legend that I have over here. As we go throughout the month, I color code all of the payments that are being made. So when you get ready to download this Excel spreadsheet or number spreadsheet, you'll be able to just scroll over to see what the actual legend items mean. And this will be able to help you to highlight those items that are being paid with a certain type of meaning. All right, let's get started. All of our expenses are organized by due date. So as you can see, our first check expenses for the first 2 weeks of the month, we have for our mortgage, it's due on the first. The water bill is also due on the first, and so is childcare. So we try to pay up our childcare for the whole month. We have 4 kids, so our last kid, Janelle, we only pay childcare for her for 1 more year. Thank and praise the Lord. She's in 5th grade, so next year she'll be going to 6th grade. We won't have to pay childcare for her any longer. But it's about $160 per month. We also have a security system here that we pay for on the 2nd and the Amazon Prime membership on the 8th. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in numbers that are not necessarily the funds that we spend out every month, but the funds that I think is comparable to our income. And the second check expenses, they go from about the 15th into the 30th, 31st, depending on what month we're on. They have payments for the 2nd, the 5th, and another one for the 5th. And we also have student loans that are due every 2 weeks as well. For our annual and quarterly payments, we have our water bill and our waste bill and also our homeowners association that's usually due in January for our homeowners association, and our waste bill is due every quarter. So we'll be paying our waste bill in March in June, September, and December. All right, next, our total payments for everything that we pay, I tell you, would add up down at the bottom. As you can see, there's already a formula inside that will allow us to add up all of the expenses for the month inside this particular cell. So you won't have to add them up using a calculator. It makes it a whole lot easier for me. I absolutely love the opportunity that you can have to lay down a planner and decorate it, make it really pretty, and write down your numbers. But it makes it a whole lot easier for me for annual tracking and seeing how our funds are spent if I do it electronically. Also, I save my electronic budget inside the cloud. So if I'm out and I need to see what funds I have left for a particular item, say for example, if I have miscellaneous and I've spent groceries for like $100, and I'm trying to find out in tracking my budget for groceries how much I have left. I can just open it up on my phone to see where we are. So it helps a whole lot, well, without having to carry around an actual budget planner with me, the physical one. So this is why I use Excel or numbers to track my budget. All right, and now let's go ahead and start on filling in expenses. While I fill in expenses, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I have 4 kids, and I'm married to a wonderful husband. His name's Antoine, and we've been married for about 24 years now. And we've been together for about 24 years. We've been married for about 17 years. We started going out when we were about, I was 15 and he was 16 years old. And we just been in love ever since. Started out as puppy love, and it's just really great how you're able to stay with one person. I know that's not for, I'm just really grateful how we've stayed together for so long and not broken up. I'm just grateful to God that I have that companion, because just knowing some of my single friends and some of the people that have gotten divorces and things like that, and then trying to start their lives over anew, it's really, really difficult out here, especially where we're from in Atlanta. And in Atlanta is where we grew up. We grew up on the southeast side of Atlanta, and we didn't necessarily grow up with money. We were all living, in the low income neighborhoods, on a budget all the time. So I learned from my mom, from hustling and trying to help with her, get help with her budgeting and things like that. She taught me how to manage my finances and my funds. So I learned from her. I learned from my mom, just watching her. We're on her limited income with 6 children, and she just really helped me to learn how to manage our funds. Okay, so I'm filling in the final. I guess some of them are variable, some of them are fixed in expenses for the month. And as you can see, as I enter the numbers down here at the summary for the total monthly payments, it adds up at the bottom. Okay, so I've entered in all of our expenses for our utilities, regular bills for mortgage, our water bill, childcare, things like that. And now I'm about to enter in our debts. So I'll go into more detail on our debt tackle video, which is actually the second video in this series. But I'm just going to enter in the monthly payments that is kind of the minimum payments for all of our debts that we have right now. We have a couple a few credit cards and also student loans. So I'm just going to enter in that information real quick. All right. And then I'm going to enter in the water bill, the waste bill, which is actually not due until March. So we don't have any spend here. And then in March, we'll pay $15. Now, homeowners association is due here. So our total expenses for the entire month will add up to about $3,900. So what do we do now? These are all of our expenses that we've entered in for the month. We want to go ahead and enter in what we're going to pay for the month with sometimes I know for some people that are on limited budgets, you don't pay everything that's due per se, but for the sake of trying to do things right, we're going to pay everything on time. And in the first check expenses, this is where we're going to implement this way of doing our budget. So we're going to manage our first check. Our first check is about, I'm going to say it's about $3,000 for the first check. And that would include my husband's check and also my check. And we both have full-time 40-hour-a-week jobs. And we have a couple of businesses that we're getting up and running right now. But for this sake, we're only going to include our 40-hour-a-week jobs. Okay, so we'll include the mortgage for the first bill, which is $1,000. So the mortgage we'll type in here. And then it's going to be $1,000 here. And then I'm going to show you what's happening over here in this leftover column in just a moment. Just sit and watch. Next, we got our water bill, which we have at $81. Next, we have child care, which is at $160. Security system, and that's at $40. I guess you could have copied and pasted, but I didn't want to mess up my formatting, so I won't do that. And the Amazon Prime membership. It's $12.99. All right, now we have our debt payments that we want to pay with our first check. And that's included for JCPenney's and Victoria's Secret. So JCPenney's is $35. And Victoria's Secret is $30, and New York and Company is $35. All right, so that's our total expenses for our debt and our monthly expenses. Now we're going to add in our annual and quarterly. So it's $0 for our waste bill, but our homeowners association is $300. All right, so this is what we have total left over. So this is how this spreadsheet works. So here we put in what we know our total income will be. So our income goes here. So you'll insert what you think your income is going to be for the 2 weeks check that you're actually managing. And then here are your expenses that are placed from up here. Okay. And then if I can show you here, this amount right here subtracts from your income, whatever this item is. And so as you go down, it'll subtract even more. So every time you put in an item, it'll subtract that item from whatever's left over in this part. But it starts out with the income here that you're expected for those 2 weeks. So you start off with $3,000, you pay the mortgage of $1,000, and you have $2,000 left. Okay? Then you go to the next line. Have a water bill that's due is $81. You had $2,000. It subtracts $81, and you get $19.19. Go back here. Next thing, you got childcare. It's $160. You had $19.19 left over from that last thing, but then you're gonna go here and subtract $160 from $19.19 and get $17.59. So that's how it works. Every single one. And so I have these additional ones down here because I don't have any items down here. So this is what you have left over from that paycheck. Now, based off of that, that's really great. You have, expenses, and we have our income. And after you subtract that, you have $1,306.01 left over. With that money, you can go ahead and start using those funds for our savings goals, and also for sinking funds, and based off of whatever your goals are for the month, you will place those numbers into your saving goals and your sinking funds. So that's it for now. I just wanted to explain to you guys how it goes. Oh, I forgot. Okay, now after you've actually paid these expenses, what you want to go in and do is color code the payments. So what it will look like is you will copy the formatting, which with numbers you would press Option or Alt, Command and C, and then you'll slide up and select what you want to make green that you've paid, and press Option or Alt, Command and V, and it'll automatically change the colors. Okay, and so that way you've already paid that. There may be a future payment that's set. Say for example, you have $1,300 left over, and you've already done your savings goals and your sinking goals, and you have that much money left over. You want to put it on another bill. You'll go ahead and set a future payment for your car insurance, for example. So if you want to set a future payment, you go ahead and you put in the date that you would pay. You'll put in your date here, and this would be for your car insurance. So you say car insurance, put the date paid, and then color that orange. So you'll know you don't have to pay that with your second check. Okay? And the same for other things that are on auto pay, like for example, you can have your Netflix, or maybe your cable is on auto pay. Okay? So those will be like the different colors. So that's how you would use your legend over here. Now, every time you pay a bill, the steps would be to do this. First, fill in all of your bills for the month. After you fill in all of your bills for the month, you would go down and enter in your bills here to see if you'll have enough left over for the month, or to see how much you'll have left over to pay all of your bills. And then you go in and you put in the date that you paid it. Now, for me, I like to see I really get joy when my bills are paid. So I like to see things posted. So I go back and I check after a couple days to make sure the payment has been posted. And so I'll put in the paid date, and then I'll put in the posted date. Okay? And I'll do that for all of these. Try to copy here. All right, and I'll do the posted dates as I go along. So that's how that works out. And you guys, I think that's it for my 2019 budget. This is something that I've been wanting to do for some time now, and I'm glad I got it completed and done. Once again, if you want to budget with me, if you haven't done so already, you can go ahead and go to my IG, which is by.saving.grace, and that's my handle. And send me a direct message with your email address in there and just say a quick hello. Make sure you guys go down to the comment section and ask any questions or send me any suggestions that you want to have on my next videos, which I said is going to be a debt tackle, savings plan, and also a vacation planning one or sinking funds for in particular. And I really enjoyed talking to you guys today. Our next video will be the debt tracker. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications. And you guys have a great day.